Good afternoon and welcome to Titan Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. Today I have myself, Captain Coop. We have our wonderful, the talent, Mr.
Hello.
Major McFarland. And we have a special guest with us today. We are happy to bring him on. We've been talking about doing this more and more where we bring on officers who do fantastic jobs, phenomenal jobs, excuse me. And we wanted to do a little bit more, and we couldn't think of a better candidate to be one of the first ones we bring on besides Mr. Carter. So we have today with us Corporal Wheeler. So Corporal Wheeler, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you coming in, taking time before your shift to come out and hang out with us.
Oh, this is pre-shift?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice. You had to come in early. That sucks.
Nah, that's all good. I appreciate
You know,
it.
it's-
Tell me you're going to leave early then.
And what's funny is I told him, I said, hey, I want to bring you in on the podcast, and this is what we're going to talk about, and I want you to come in early. And he goes, absolutely, sure. He goes, what time?
Yeah.
Didn't even hesitate, nothing.
It's because he's fantastic.
I appreciate the invite. It's
So
an
no,
honor
thank
to
you for
be
joining us today. So we brought you on, and we, like I said, we
Wheelie
discussed
boy.
it before.
You can't see the comments.
I was
but
gonna ignore it, but that
funny.
was great. So we brought you on because we want to talk a little bit about your incident that you were part
Incident. He saved somebody's life.
of. Why you
Lifesaver.
gotta beat me to it? I was gonna
Because
say your
that's my
incident
job.
He's
I
interrupting
can take
me always.
all the glory. But let's turn it over to him
So-
and let him talk. So just
Absolutely,
walk us through.
a little bit of it.
Okay. Yeah, I was on shift with the KCAT, of course. It was kind of late, too. It was probably about 10 o'clock or so. And the call came through our radio that one of the staff members for KCAT, the road supervisors, they reported that somebody was down at the bus stop and didn't look like he was moving. So she called for our assistance. I arrived at that stop, and I noticed he was laying on his back. And, 90% of the time, it's somebody usually they're just inebriated. Maybe they drank a little too much.
Yeah.
You can kind of sternum rub them.
Yeah.
Kind of come to a little bit.
Right.
Help them to their feet. Or you just let them sit down somewhere and let them chill. Well, I noticed right away something was off because this guy, his eyes were rolled in the back of his head.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And he's laying on his back, not moving. So when I got there, I took his pulse first and realized there's no pulse. I checked
Ooh.
his neck and his wrist.
Right.
And I was like, man. And I know that detail that if you're on your back and if you throw up, some people choke on their own vomit.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
That can, end your life.
Yeah.
So I flipped him on his side to see if I could get anything from him, and still nothing. His arms limp, So after that, I flipped him back over on his back and just started doing CPR on him while I called for EMS. And I was probably about 3 or 4 minutes in.
Dude,
on
hold on, let me
CPR.
stop you real quick. People that haven't done CPR, 3 or 4 minutes is like a lifetime.
Yeah, it
that
is.
is. You are smoked.
It's
So just to understand the effort
It's-
that Corporal Wheeler put in on that guy.
There's a ton of muscle behind that you got to put into
Yeah.
CPR. So 3
If
or
you're
4
not
minutes
breaking
of
the
it.
if you're not cracking their chest, then you're not doing it right.
Yep.
You
And
know.
that's what I was
Sorry, go
worried
ahead.
about. No, you're fine.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about is breaking that breastplate. But the craziest thing I've experienced out there was while doing CPR, when he came to, his heart started. So I could literally feel his heart
Feel
in
his-
the palm of my hands, and it was racing because
Adrenaline.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pumping like out of his chest. And I got him stabilized. He took this deep breath, and I was like, oh, good. I'm talking to the guy. And then EMS pulls up, and they bring out everything. They got the gurney. They're pumping wind into him. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of told them when they got there, I let them take over. I was like, hey, I think he might be stabilized. And they didn't hear me. They probably didn't think I knew what I was doing.
Right.
And so they're bringing everything out. And then once I said that, a couple seconds later, the guy looks at me, and then they didn't even think to check for his vitals. So they checked his pulse, and all of them are like real intent checking his pulse. And then they turn around, they look at me, and he's like, oh, yeah, he's stable. I was like,
That's crazy, dude. Wild.
That's
Dude, yeah. Wow.
that's something, man.
That's a cool story, man. It's definitely worth having you on here. And I've been doing this a long time, and I've unfortunately not had that result with CPR before. And so you usually don't, dude. And so I don't know. You just always have a positive attitude. And you're such a good guy that I couldn't have imagined it, that gratification of doing the right thing and getting somebody back happening to somebody better, dude. So just thanks.
yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
thank
no
you.
problem. Hey, that's what we do.
That's wild, man. That's wild. Obviously, training comes into play there. So kind of talk to us about kind of what you guys do and some of your training at ATA.
Our FTO process, it's mainly spearheaded through Lieutenant Thompson, and he does a great job about getting guys out there, getting them in the car, and then while we're taking them through the areas, we will throw situations at them like, hey, if call comes out on the radio right now, if this happens, what should you do?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's theoretical like that, and then sometimes during your FTO process, you will get a call. And so on the way to that call, wherever it may be, I'll be explaining to the FTO process like, hey, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
Break everything down.
Yep. You're about to learn.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Because the last thing we want to do is get people that want to go out there and get hands-on right away.
Yeah,
we don't,
for sure.
What I was taught when I first started, it was called verbal judo.
Yeah.
You want to talk
De-escalation is what we call it now.
Exactly.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep, yep. And we can't stress that enough, especially with Thompson too. Is we got to have the right mindset out there. Are we capable of going hands-on? Of course, but that's not our first jump to instinct.
Right.
We want to de-escalate.
Last result.
Exactly. And our best process is they turn and they leave. Best case scenario.
Yep.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, sometimes you got to keep them there because they did something they got to stay. They have to be there for. But yeah, man, that's really good point. You guys are one of the elite units, here, and so there's a lot of training that goes into, like you said, de-escalation, and the best way to do it is get your ass in the seat, essentially, and hours on the job, and so. Lieutenant Thompson does such a good job. We were actually, me and the chief were recently down there for the most recent corporal interviews, and Lieutenant Thompson had the good but unfortunate decision that was tough to make, which is a good thing, you know. So for him to have to make that decision, or when he has to make that decision and it's a tough decision, that's a good thing because he's got I think it was 3 or 4 candidates that all probably could have done the gig, and so just seeing how uniform and kind of everybody has the same kind of like you said, touched on a little bit, same vision down there. It's really cool to see, and it just goes to show how much time and effort the supervisors, you guys, the corporals included, that you guys put in to making sure that team is one big unit, and there's not people there that are trying to do different things, and it makes me happy as one of the people that deals with all the use of forces to hear that you guys, all, and I know you guys do, but, understand that, hey, we're here to just make the bad go away. We don't need to be essentially getting hands-on or getting in fist fights and stuff. So that teamwork collaboration's that's a big part of it.
I remember telling my guys, too, that if they're ever unsure of anything, to just always call and ask before you just go out there and wing it.
Mm-hmm.
When I first came out to the ATA, there were situations that I was put on like by myself, didn't really know how to, what I was capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the fact, I would, see my corporals and tell them and bring them up different scenarios. And then they would kind of walk me through that.
Yeah.
So, I always tell my guys there's something new you can learn every day. Even me, I'm still learning out there too. Can never become complacent.
Yep. So I tell myself that all the time, and I tell new officers that you're always going to learn something. When I was this is how far back I've been told that same thing for veterans, so that's how often people say it. When I was in college as an electrician, one of our instructors used to say that you're always going to learn. You're never going to know everything.
Yeah.
If you ever think you know everything, it's time for you to retire.
Yeah.
And it's like, because
especially in this gig.
Yeah, there's always something to learn.
Being an electrician, you could fry yourself.
Yeah.
But so what's something that you kind of learned that you walked away from differently after the incident? Something you may have learned, or obviously how it feels to have a beating heart in your hand from not beating heart.
Yeah, no, I haven't
very descriptive.
experienced that one before. And we had the classes, for the CPR instruction and whatnot.
A little different once a human being.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot different.
Dummies look a lot like us, but the feel, yeah. But no, it's just something you may have kind of walked away with afterwards.
It felt good. Man, it's so weird. I almost feel like guilty because I've been on this contract for almost 2 years now, and that's my first person I've been CPR, and I feel like I should be doing that like every day. To be honest,
well, like I said, dude, they don't normally
stay with it.
end that way. So you're 1 for 1, which is good. That's a good thing. Obviously, CPRs are super important. Technique to know, and we're working in the direction of getting more of our units authorized for Narcan, and we kind of talked about that. And so anything we can really help the community with, now that that's been more.
Well, not just that, but we're doing more. We're getting more officers CPR certified and getting more guys with that information, that knowledge, because case proven, when you're in those situations, if having that knowledge is key.
Sure.
And so we're getting more and more officers with that certification, with that CPR to have that, and then, like you said, Narcan and things.
I think what's beneficial for that too is that you can use that on the job, and then let's say that you encountered something even off the job. You're not EMT or EMS or
Right.
anything, but still you can jump in with
help.
having the prior knowledge.
Yeah, funny you say that. I just gave an award to one of our officers that works here at the Shamrock building. He had provided a CPR class for some of the employees from another company that's in the building, not Titan. And one of them reached out to him, and we got wind of it, that she was able to basically unclog or clear the airway of her child that was choking because of his training.
Wow.
I'm not a parent. I've got dogs, but I can only imagine seeing your kid in a situation like that and trying to stay calm. And that was one thing she pointed on, was his training helped me stay calm and successfully do that. Because once you start panicking, then your technique's off or whatever, and you just, it can all spiral out of control. And so she was able to keep her cool and saved her own kid's life. And I was like, well, that deserves recognition. For someone to be able to teach that well and then get some Billy, get some recognition. But this one's, I have to read this one too. Watching Wheeler peel his big 6-foot+ self out of a tiny Chevy Cruze will live in my mind for decades.
Hysterical.
Yeah, he's in good shape. He's probably about an inch
Watching
taller than
him
me.
fall
But
out of one.
watching me roll out of a car, because it's just like the was it the Penguin from Batman where they roll him into the water. That's what I look like getting out of, because I drive a little Ford, so it's the same thing for me.
I kind of ruined some of my equipment,
Me too.
on my duty belt,
Yeah.
and in and out of those little small cars. Yeah.
I remember
See,
my baton holder back when I first was on patrol. Before I had an outer vest, all my shit was on my belt.
Yeah.
And I went to get out and I blasted my baton like 20 feet into the parking lot, and I was like, I'll get that later.
I did this. I did the
I
same
gotta go
thing.
deal
I'm
with
not
this
even,
idiot.
I'm small. I'd done the same thing. I got it hooked on the seatbelt right there.
Yep,
Just
yep.
snap. And I was like, I'll get it in a minute.
Yeah. Well, it was a hot call, so I didn't have time to go mess with it. Went back and found it afterwards. These guys had a weapon on the back of I can't say the place, but where it's over in Raytown, that little shopping center. Yeah, he had like a makeshift shotgun, so we were running around there.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, we handled the situation. It was fine, and then I go to get my baton, and it looked like it got drug through gravel because it had skidded across. Yeah, it looked terrible. But
Makes it look more rugged.
yeah, it looks cooler.
Needed some wear look to it.
Well, this kind of spoils it for Billy, but Corporal Wheeler, these finally came in. These are your guys' official shields.
No way.
So I thought, what better time he literally slapped these on my desk like an hour ago, so I couldn't think of what better time to give you guys.
I cannot tell you how excited I am.
Shiny metal shield. So congratulations, you've obviously earned it.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Wear that with pride. And so you can peel the Velcro one off and put the real deal on, man.
Man, this is awesome.
Well deserved, well earned. I appreciate you coming on today. I'm not blowing smoke. You always have just a good positive vibe about you. So we really appreciate that every time I see you. I know your fellow officers look up to you, and you do such a good job. So we really appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely.
I appreciate the opportunity.
I couldn't think of a more positive person to have out at the KCATA crew and help them keep that positive nature, because with dealing with some of the things that you guys dealing with, that positive outlook.
I see all the
amazing.
reports.
Yeah.
I think over time, I think it can kind of break people down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, there's some times where you show up to an EMS call, someone needs help, they're over inebriated or whatnot.
Yeah.
You pull up, as soon as you get out, everyone there is hate on site.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely,
it's
dude.
hate on site.
Yeah. This gig's not for everybody, and to have, I'm a pretty Coop might say different, but I'm a pretty optimistic person at times, and so
Don't believe a word of that.
It's hard to keep that optimism
No, yes.
when you're constantly berated by people for just trying to do the right thing. So
And
we appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, 100%.
no
Thank you so
problem.
much.
And
for
I
all
know
the
your
good work
team
you do.
does.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
So-
I appreciate all the opportunities and
Of course,
everything
just
going our way.
keep kicking ass, man, and saving lives.
That's what
You're
I
like
like
a
to do.
freaking I almost said the F word. You're like
Dude.
a freaking superhero.
I think what I admire about this job and how I can still stay passionate about it is that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'll tell the truth. Other jobs that I've had over a certain amount of time, I just start getting burnt out
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
this job, when I wake up and I'm driving into work, there is no, oh man, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean,
I'm like excited to come
Yeah.
in because
Yeah.
every day is a
It's-
new
everything's
It is, dude.
different. Yep.
new
It's
areas,
never the same.
new people,
Yep.
and that to me is what I thrive on.
Even
you
that I
beat me to
spent-
the punch. I was
yeah.
going to ask you when you're, everybody usually has a burnout over time.
Yeah.
What makes you look forward to it? And that right there, like I said, you beat me to the punch on that because every time I talk to somebody who does this for a living or who was a cop for 20 years or whatever, I was like, what makes you, what gives you that drive? What do you wake up and think to yourself? And it's almost always the same answer. Every day is different.
Yep.
Nothing's ever the same. I run into a brand new situation that I learn something from.
Yeah.
And that it's the same way. I may not be in the field every day anymore, but it's the same thing here. And that's that ever
Yeah, it's never the
constant
same here.
changing, constant learning, dude, is just, it makes the job way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The workday can look like to use Chief Leon's, one of his new catchphrases. Your day of work can look like a plate of spaghetti as far as organization sometimes here, so you never know what to expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, again, thank you so much. Really, you guys make us proud. You guys really do, and you guys deserve it. So
Absolutely, 100%. Thank
the
you so much.
praise.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you
So
guys.
yeah, of course, Billy. I will be making sure you and the rest of your fellow corporals will get those. I just wanted to.
No, I
have a
think
nice
I'm gonna
gift.
get all three of them. I'm gonna wear 3 or 4.
Just one shiny
Don't worry,
beacon.
Billy. I'll take it.
Yeah. So
Don't worry about it. You'll get
You're
it.
gonna see it from space.
what are we looking like weather-wise
So
there,
we're looking
weatherman?
at weather. So, all right, we had a nice.
It's windy out there.
A nice
Dude,
day
it's
with
it's
some
like
wind.
40 mile an
I'm a
hour
huge
gusts.
American flag fan, and that
You can see
thing
it
looks
waving.
badass.
Yeah.
The whole pole is bending.
Teetering.
So what we're looking at now, besides the high winds, is 76 degrees. Saturday we're looking at 71,
Nice.
partly cloudy. Sundays we're looking at 80. Monday and Tuesday we got 73 on Monday with thunderstorms, and Tuesday's a chilling 54 degrees with more rain.
50's not
Tuesday?
bad.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I was planning on going to Topeka Tuesday. I don't want to drive in the rain.
Well, looks like you're driving in the rain, buddy.
We'll see.
Wednesday we're looking at 57 with some sunshine. Thursday 65 sunny. Friday 71, Saturday 76, and Sunday 74. So we're getting back into those nice warm temperatures, other than our nice lovely Tuesday coming with that 54 degrees with rain. So we got that to look forward to next week.
Yeah.
But
Billy, I was actually planning on doing it in person for all you guys, but since you're working tonight and I know you probably want to wear it, I will make sure you get it. I'll make sure he gets it to give to you.
Incoming-
He's got to slap it onto you like the old military way.
Pop it.
Yeah, with the pins. Or yeah, he could CPR it onto you. He's pretty good at it, is what I
I need
hear.
to practice.
so.
I need to practice.
But yeah, again, thanks, man. You guys are rock stars out there. It's really nice to kind of brag and show some of our top tier guys on here. You know, we've got some really really good men and women that work for us, and it's nice to be able to show that off. So
Yeah.
instead of see our ugly mugs all the time.
Absolutely.
I think what I like a lot about the ATA is like, I don't want to keep talking about when I first started, but when I did first started, the road supervisors there that will do reroutes for buses, or if there's a complaint on a bus, they will usually take care of it. They arrive on scene same time usually we do, and if it's a smaller situation, we usually let them go at it first, see
Sure.
if they can talk
Yeah.
to the person,
Yeah,
like customer
absolutely.
service, and then if they can't, then they look to us as like the next step.
Right.
But when I first started out there, man, there really wasn't too much of that relationship.
Yeah.
There was no pass them in traffic and wave at them,
Yeah.
stop and talk to them. It was very like one-sided.
Yeah, well, that was pretty early on in the contract too. So since you've been there that long, so
And
yeah,
it took a little while, and
So
just a lot
how
of
long
hard
have you
work.
been with ATA?
it's been almost 2 years, right?
Yeah. Yep. I think April
Yeah.
will be 2 years.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like Monday.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Hopefully
All right.
a lot more. But yeah, no, that's right, man. That relationship, you got to cultivate that over time. And I can't talk enough about how impressed the chief and I were of Lieutenant Thompson's just kind of, this is going to sound real cliche, but like the synergy down there. You guys all are on the same page. You guys are passing along information efficiently and correctly between shifts. A lot of people that haven't been in this line of work, obviously the crime and the public's, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
It never stops. And so at each shift, we got to pass along like, hey, we're having an issue at this bus stop, or we're having an issue at this location. It's been ongoing, and so just be prepared. And so when that's not communicated correctly, you have a big drop off every 8 hours or 10 or however long the shift hours are, to where people kind of being on the same page. And so for you guys to be as much of a unit as you guys are, that's a testament to his leadership and your guys' leadership as well. So again,
it's
nothing but good things to say about you guys, and you guys were my contract, so I'm a little biased, but you guys might be the best. I don't know.
It's a
They're up there.
It's an open wave of communication too when it comes with Thompson. Because I tell him, I'm like,
He's a rock star.
If I have to call you at like 2 o'clock in the morning, he's like, I don't care. If it's important, call me and we'll go through it. And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
So.
There's nobody that would disagree, and he, and you are too, but he is probably one of our best shooters. Thompson is fast.
Really?
Because when I was back when I was doing more range than when we had one of our instructors out, I had him qual with me at the bullet hole and shot 100, and not only was he 100, but he's lightning speed. So,
really?
Yeah. No, he's crazy. He won't brag about it. Yeah, but I was like, it was like watching like a shooting competition.
Really?
Yeah. It's like bing, and he's just like, and I'm like, oh wow,
Okay.
that dude's got some skills. So awesome, man. Well, again, thanks for coming out.
problem,
We really appreciate you guys. Coop, you got to do your spiel.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. Thank you again for joining us. We appreciate you coming out and
Phenomenal.
coming in early for it. You did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Smart aleck. We thank you guys out there so much for watching us and dealing with us every time. We appreciate you guys so much. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do stuff like this. We wouldn't be able to bring Corporal Wheeler on or any of you guys on to do this. So thank you so much for everything you do out in the field that allows us to do this. We'll let you guys get back to enjoying it. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget, hydration is key. Hydration is the day before, not the day of. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your weekends.
Take care.